Hello, 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 my good people, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so now. And if you're able to give and support the show and channel, I appreciate you. All right, so we are still in the month of February, and this is the month of love, and this is the Love and Healing series that we've been doing all month. So we have one more. This is episode 3 of the Love and Healing series. All right, y'all know, as always, I want to promote healthy love because if you're in an intimate or romantic relationship, what good is it if it's not a healthy love? Some people don't even understand what that's like and what it is as far as being healthy, because some have adopted the unhealthy way to love, the toxic way to love, because that's what they've seen, that's what they've experienced, and that's what they know. But I want to teach something different. So it's time to talk about healthy love and what that looks like. All right. So today we're focusing on the inner child. Let me make sure that's up here so you know what we are talking about. All right, episode 3, the inner child. All right, y'all want to get right to it. It might sting a little bit. It might be a little rough a little bit, but we're going to talk about it. All right, so most of the time when you get with somebody, whether it's a relationship, whether you're dating or married, most of the time, two children get together. Yes, you're in adult bodies, right? But two children get together because everyone has past trauma, everyone has wounds, everyone has had different experiences in their families of origin, which is who raised you, right? And the experiences, uh, difficulties in your childhood. That's who you're bringing to your relationship if it's not addressed, acknowledged, and healed during the process of healing. So you have, let's say you have 240 somethings, 250 somethings, 230 somethings getting together, right? They're in a relationship, they're getting together. You're dealing with really this 9-year old and this 9-year old, even though you're 42 and 42. That's who you're dealing with, because a lot of people are unaware of their past traumas and they think it's their personality. That's why my book is Excuse Me, You're Unhealed is showing, because that's what's really showing. All right, let me give you some signs of a wounded, a hurt, in need of healing child. And then you'll begin to see what shows up in these relationships. You have anxiety when making new decisions. And this is from medico.com. You believe there is something wrong with you. You really want to please others. You have trouble standing up for yourself and your opinion. You criticize yourself often. You feel uncomfortable expressing strong emotions. And we're going to unpack all of this today, right? Um, you rarely get very upset, but when you do, it's extreme. You attempt to avoid conflict. You feel responsible for others. You struggle with saying no. You have trouble letting go of your past. You find it difficult to trust people. Now, think about all of those. And if you're watching, please share this out. Please repost this on your social media. If you're watching on Facebook, hey, y'all, hey, make sure you share this and tag somebody, because we about to go all the way in. We're about to get deep and deep quick. All right. So let me just give me 1 second. I just want to make sure this is shared out. Okay. So we're going to go deep with it. Y'all ready? Whether you're watching live or the playback, We're going to get deep with it. All right. So think about it and let's unpack it. You have anxiety when you're making new decisions. So think about if it doesn't just pop out of nowhere, right? The anxiety, your traits, you are who you are, and God puts things in you, and you were born with certain things, the personality. My mom said I came out the womb independent, handling business. She always says that. So it's so interesting when you have anxiety when making new decisions. So think about if you were a child, right? And you had to decide certain things, your parents or whoever raised you put it in your hands to make new decisions, right? Whether you had a choice of something as small as picking out your clothes, right? You couldn't decide. Somebody was over your back, like, just pick one, hurry up. What's wrong? You can't make a decision. Or if it was more subtle than that, or if you were trying to make a decision whether you wanted to run track or play basketball, and you had a coach or someone in your ear as a child saying, make a decision, this person made a decision, that person made a decision, I don't see why you can't make a decision. That's why you have to be careful on how you speak to children. And me working with children every day, I see it. So even when some adults are speaking to children, I go back and try to erase it and give something positive, even though I wasn't the teacher, right? That said something negative to this child. I can see the child diminish, right? I can see the child inflate. So if I overhear it, oh, I'm coming to pump that child up, because they're going to have two. They're not going to just have one, because they could be getting the same thing in their hi. Welcome, Valerie. Please share this out. Yeah, so that's why you have to be careful how you speak to children. So that's where some of the anxiety might come from. Next, you believe there is something wrong with you. Why do you believe there's something wrong with you? Because someone's saying you can't do nothing right? Like, what are you doing? You can't do that, right? Like, why are you doing this? Or how are you doing this? Or that comparison, right? So it's so important to believe that you can do something right. And the worst thing when the parents can say is, what's wrong with you? Is there something wrong with you? Like, why can't you do it? Mary J done did it over here. Faith done it over here. Bobby done it over there. Why can't you do it? And yes, I'm talking about Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans, and Bobby Brown. Those are the names that came up. I don't know why. But and then you're thinking something is wrong with you. If they're doing it, but you can't do it, then you're looking at yourself like something is wrong. And nothing is wrong with you, but you feel something is wrong with you because someone keeps telling you something wrong with you. So we're going to align these on how that inner child shows up in relationships. So think about the things that I'm saying, right? Think about how I'm saying this. And then we're going to talk about how they're going to show up in in your relationships. All right. So next up, we talked about anxiety. We talked about thinking is something wrong with you. Next is you really want to please others. You really want to please others, right? And I think I get that from childhood, thinking about things. And I can't think of an example for me, but I can kind of feel that and I can see that. So you're trying to please others. You want to make this friend happy, let's say, and you want to make this friend happy. You're in basketball in school, and y'all know, and I don't like this. Even when I see this now working in the schools, I don't like this. I remember this back in the day too. And I was an athlete, so I did get picked, but I'm also an empath and empathetic. I used to get sad for the ones who didn't get picked. And it's such slave auction mentality where you got some kids lined up here, some kids lined up here, right? And you're like, okay, pick your team. They be like, I want Michael, I want Lisa, I want this person, I want that person. And they're picking, right? And then you got the one sitting over there that nobody picked. That used to worry my soul as a kid. I didn't like it. I'd be like, well, can you pick Butch and them? Like, He can play, or I'll be responsible for him. Like, I would take ownership because I never like to see someone sitting on the sidelines. So even in that case, if you're picking, like, you want to please other people because you want to make sure that everybody is seen, or because you feel like you have to please everyone, right? So think about again how these things come up in relationships, right? In love. All right. So the next one is you have trouble standing up for yourself or sharing your opinion. So if you come from a household, no matter who raised you, or if you come from a school and a teacher did this, or a grandparent, or whoever, think about it. You have trouble standing up for yourself and sharing your opinion. So if every time you went to go speak, someone said, stay in a child's place, speak when you're spoken to. I don't care about your little opinion. Your little opinion don't matter because you ain't paying no bills. You think about the stuff that you hear, right? You hear parents say, or you hear grandparents say, or you've experienced. So you're automatically diminished at that point. And you're like, well, I'm not going to share my opinion, right? And I probably got permission to share mine. I did, and I'm grateful for that. Like, I was able to speak up for myself as a child. I was able to share my opinion, of course, to a certain degree, because you're still a child, so you don't get this much, right? But with my children, I gave them permission. I always say the biggest gift I've given my children is the gift of their own view, their own opinion, their own ideologies, because I wanted them to be a whole person. And it was important for me for them to have and to be that. And I think it's so important to provide that for children. But some people, like, you're a child, you don't got no opinion until you're 18. But then it's like you're teaching them not to have a view, not to have an opinion, right? So then the next one is you criticize yourself often. And that comes with comparison. When you're comparing yourself to other people, if they have this hair or this complexion or these friends or these clothes, you learn to criticize yourself instead of embracing and celebrating yourself. You're criticizing yourself because you might not look like or have what someone else has. So remember, this inner child is coming into relationships, and their stuff is coming in to relationships, even unbeknownst to either one of you. It's just become who you are when you think it's a personality trait, and it's really your unhealed is showing. So you have strong emotions and you try to remain neutral. This often happens when you're in a family and you have multiple children, and you might have this sister or brother saying this sister or brother saying this, and you're trying not to take sides. You're trying to keep it neutral in the middle, and you're forced to pick a side, and that's difficult for you to do. You feel uncomfortable expressing your true emotions, like, no, you were wrong, this hurt me or that hurt. You try to stay in the neutral position. Next, you really get up you get rarely get upset, but when you do, it's extreme. And that's because of the previous. If you're not taught how to express your emotions or share what you're feeling on the inside, then what happens is, when you finally do, it just erupts everywhere because you're used to holding back, holding in your feelings or emotions, waiting for somebody to give you permission to speak. And then when you do, it's an explosion. Next is you avoid conflict because you don't want no smoke, you don't want no problems. You're just going to accept any and everything because you feel like anything addressed is going to cause an issue or a problem. And you try to avoid conflict maybe because as a child, when there was conflict or you watch your parents handle conflict, it got ugly. So now you may not speak, your mother may not speak to that aunt that they used to speak to that you were tight with, or they lost their best friend, and you watch some of these things unfold because everything as a child doesn't happen to you, remember, you're watching too. More is caught than taught. So when parents are parenting, even if they try to teach you the opposite, a child is going to look at what they see. So maybe they avoid conflict because they saw the conflict in the people who raised them turn out not so good, where people left out of their lives. Um, you feel responsible for others. Now, this often happens as the older child, and I'm the oldest child by far on both sides, my mom and my father's side, right? And I want to do a documentary on the oldest because I have interviewed and did surveys with the oldest child and the responsibilities and how they feel and how they manage through the world, because it's totally different. Just like they have the middle child, and then the baby child tends to be spoiled or getting what they want, and that's showing up in relationships as well, because when they don't get it, it's a problem. But the oldest child, I can understand that you feel responsible for others. So I have always been responsible for others since I was young. My brother is 6 years younger than I am, and I always was responsible for him because I was raised in a working mom household. So if she was at work, I was the next best thing. He was coming with me. So you feel responsible. And then my sister came, and then you feel responsible. And then I got married at 20, had my first child at 22. That's really pretty much still a baby, married, and a child. So then I'm responsible. I've always been a responsible person. My mom always says that I've always been a responsible person. So I've always felt responsible for others by maybe that, and then my nature being responsible for other people. That's just my way. But I'm no longer responsible for anyone. I can't be responsible for anyone. I have to be responsible for myself. But that's something you grow to learn. And that's something you could be responsible for a person or feel like that and don't even know. You're not even aware that you are being that, right? So it could be something that you don't even know about. It could be something small. That's why it's important to assess your life, do your healing, grow, understand. Nobody should say, I know you better than you know yourself. That should never be said, because you should do the work to really get to know yourself. And at almost 53 years old, I have done the work and I still do the work. I know me inside and out. And that's how you should get to know you. All right. Coming down to the end, you struggle with saying no. That's, for a lot of people, that's difficult. You might not have wanted to say no as a child, honey. I said no. I'll still say no, um, and not stretch yourself, because you have to learn the power of no. Because every yes is not a healthy yes. Hello, somebody. So you have to learn the power to say no. And we all struggle with that, right? At some points, because you want to do everything, you want to be there, you want to say yes, right? But there's power in the no when it's saving you. And sometimes we say yes in the detriment of us. So I no longer am going to put someone else's yes before mine, right? But think about if you're struggling to say no as a child, or if you said no and your no's went unanswered. And that happens when a lot of children are mishandled as children. And you get what I'm saying, in many ways, exploited, abused, all of that, right? Um, and their no went unanswered. So now it may be difficult for them to say no. You have two kinds of children. If they were violated, then it's like no, and their no is loud. But if their no went unanswered, then it could be, I'm afraid to say no. And that's going to show up in a relationship. Um, you have trouble letting go of the past. So again, if something has happened in the past, or a parent walked out, or there was trauma, or some things happened in the household or in school, or a teacher said or did this, they might be replaying that. Am I worthy? Did I do the right right thing? Did I not do the right thing? Did I say no enough? Did I do this? Did I do that? And that might be replaying a 7-year-old it might be replaying in a 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60-year-old, right? Those things from a child that they haven't healed. That's why it's so important to heal or begin that process. Last, you find it difficult to trust people. Now, if that trust is broken at a very early age, whether you confided in a teacher, confided in an aunt or uncle, confided in one of your friends, confided in your parents, right? Or the people that should be trusted, the trusted adults in a child's life, whoever they were, a coach, right? A pastor, whoever it was in a child's space, and they showed themselves untrustworthy, and they showed that you cannot trust them, whether it was an act that they did or something you confided in them, what you said, your heart, right? And then they went to go tell this person, or they violated your trust in some type of way. Then it's difficult to trust. So think about all of these things: anxiety, trust, responsible for someone else, right? Uncomfortable speaking your emotions, getting extremely upset, struggling saying no. And now you're a 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70-year old in love, trying to find love, or having a past love, wherever you are in the love category, whether you're married, engaged, single, looking for love, whatever it is. All of these still can apply to strengthen your current relationship, or walking into a new relationship, or reflecting on an old relationship, because all of this will help you be better as an individual, so you can be better in a partnership. Now, if you know someone in love right now, looking for love, having difficulties in love, or want to strengthen the love that they have, make sure you share this video, because this is going to bless someone. And hopefully they're able to see themselves in some of the things I've said, and to be better, because it's about being better, right? It's about being wiser. It's about allowing someone else's experiences, instead of learning the hard way, allowing someone else's experiences to help you in your current day. And it's never too late to remix your life. Y'all know that's my saying: at any stage, age, or phase. So I think it's wise to listen to things like this, and not just because I'm saying it, but anything, any podcast, any show, any workshop, seminar, whatever, to help you grow and to think things through, maybe in a different way. This is February, the month of love. You know, we had Valentine's Day, or some people say Valentine's with an M. I'm like, where the M come from? I don't know, but it's Valentine's, right? Because your relationship, even if you have a great relationship right now, it can always be strengthened. It can always be stronger. No relationship is without issues. If someone says that they have no issues, everything is perfect in their relationship, they're not telling you the truth. Even the best, the strongest relationships have little things that could be fixed. And some of these could be some of the things you're wondering why, and you're trying to understand the person, and you like, I just can't figure you out. I just can't understand you. If you understand their inner child, you'll get to understand them as an adult. If you understand your inner child, you'll get to understand you as an adult, right? And how you fare with other people, because that's what it's about. So this person over here don't have no idea you exist. This person over here possibly don't have no idea you exist. You both doing your work over here to come together to be a whole. Ain't no half over here, 50 and 50, and they make me whole. They complete me. That's some foolishness. Nobody should complete you. You should be standing strong in your completion. They're strong in their completion. Then you come together, right? And then you're like this. Because think about it, if you're like this, somebody can move that. But if you like this, that's solid. Ain't nobody pulling that, right? So you got to be able to trust yourself in a lot of things. Stem. A lot of things stem from your inner child in your younger years. And then, of course, you're not healed or not knowing you need to heal, and you're going through life, picking up more bumps and bruises as you're going, hitting your head, falling down a couple times more. Then you're running into other people who haven't healed, and you picking up some of their trauma. Then you grab, it's like all of these bags you putting on your back. Then you going and going, and then you get into a relationship. This one don't work because you ain't healed it. Then you go into another one. This one ain't gonna work because you're not healing it, or you're not even knowing that you need to heal it. That's why I did the last episode is you can heal even in your relationship with the right partner. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Again, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And you can support the show by hitting it's a heart button on YouTube, and it says thanks. You can hit that. And then on Facebook, it's a star, and you can hit that. So please do so. Remember, you are a star. Don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Let's heal together, y'all. Peace. God bless y'all.